What's up, YouTube? George's Silver Hunter here, and somebody may have purchased a rather large coin collection this weekend, and that somebody was me. So what you see in front of you is a coin collection I bought from someone on nextdoor.com. This was someone who inherited a coin collection and wasn't quite sure what to do with it. They had a couple of folks come out and look at it. They had an estate sale company appraise it. And they reached out to me to come out and have a look and make an offer on it, which I did. And they were happy to sell me everything you see here at the price that I gave them. So I'm going to get into this stuff with you guys. This may turn into a couple of videos depending on the length. The first run through everything, I think we're just going to go through and see what was in here. And maybe on a second pass, we'll get into the value. As I do go through here, though, if you guys see anything that you absolutely love or you think is an absolute score or something I should have graded, please do let me know. Getting into coins for their numismatic value is relatively new for me. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, but I am no expert. So everything you hear from me will be based on advice I've gotten from others, as well as my own thoughts from looking at PCGS Photo Grade and Redbook and comparing sales and things on eBay. So with that, I'm going to get all this off the table and we'll bring it up just a little bit at a time and start going through it. So what would any coin collection be without coin sets like this? So this is the Spirit of 76. It's got three bicentennial. It's got the three bicentennial coins, the bicentennial Ike, the half, and the quarter. Now, these are not rare or special by any stretch of the imagination. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about value. I can tell you I put very little value on this. As a matter of fact, I can tell you I put $1.75 value on it because I can pick these up for about $1 or $2 at my local coin shop, and I buy and return these from the bank in my boxes every week. But it's still kind of a neat piece. But I can tell you, I didn't value this very highly. They go on eBay for $7, $8, $9. Moving on from there, we have some mint sets to look at. So it did come, the coin collection did come with a P, or maybe that's a D. That was the P and the D full coin set, mint set. Again, I don't pay much more than face value for these because at the end of the day, this is just pocket change to me. I find coins like this all the time in coin roll hunts. Moving on, we have the 1998 P and D. I'm sorry, I did that backwards that time. So that's the D and the P. Mint sets, again, like I said, they're great. I think a lot of people collect them. I think a lot of people overvalue them because how expensive they are from the mint. But again, it's pocket change. You could actually put this set together just by going to the bank. It did come with a second set of 1998. And by the way, the first set did come in an envelope as well. I already took it out. There's another set inside of here with the full certificate of authenticity. So we have that to go with the coins. Moving on to, I think, what I would consider to be a little bit cooler coins when you start talking about mint sets. So I've already taken these out of their cases, but these are out of their envelopes, but these came in the envelope. This is a 1962 mint set. It's got the Benjamin Franklin. Now, what makes this set valuable is the fact that it does have three silver pieces in it. So we have a silver half, 90% silver half, a 90% silver quarter, and a 90% silver dime. As you can see with a lot of mint sets, if they get air in them, they will tarnish over time like this dime did. And our good friend Benjamin Franklin actually has a little bit of tarnish on his face there. But I value these at silver value. So, you know, you've got 10, maybe 13, 14, 15, 16, $15 to $16 worth of silver in this. Moving on, we've got a very similar set from 1964. This is a beautiful set from Philadelphia. We have another one I can turn this around, make it all look pretty. This is the 1963 set. And I want to say, no, it's the other one I have. So this is, again, just a regular mint set. Again, 3 silver coins. The other 2 are clad. Each of those sets I would value at silver spot price value. And then last but not least, we have a 1957 mint set. Now, what's cool about the 57 mint set is that I'm also going to get an uncirculated Wheat Penny, 1957 Wheat Penny. Now, I have not gone through any of these mint sets for any type of error or variety, but you can be assured that I will. But the silver coins in particular are of great interest to me. The mint sets, you know, they're interesting, but that's the kind of thing that I could easily let go of on eBay. So now we're going to move on to proof sets, and we got a handful of those as well. So we have a 1973 proof set, and for those of you that have ever collected these, usually there's like a black case or container that goes around these. I didn't get any of those with this collection. These were actually part of a book. You had these really cool trays that these things fit in, and they were part of like a 3-ring binder. But we have a 1973 clad proof set. We have a bicentennial clad proof set. Now these are nicer coins than the 3-coin box because these are just clad. These are clad proof, so these have an S mint mark on them. They're a little more highly desirable and hard to find. That's why they're really cool when you find them in coin boxes. The bicentennial has the different design too for the Ike on the back. So most of these proof sets that I'm showing you now, again, I don't pay any more than $4 or $5 for them. On eBay, I see them go for $8 to maybe $10, $11, $12, $13. Here's the 1980. You can see we've moved over to the Susan B. Anthony dollar coin. We got a 1982 clad proof set. Pretty cool stuff. Again, I will check all of these proof sets. Some of these proof sets actually do have errors and variety, so I will be checking all those. I have not checked them yet, but if I find them, you can be assured I will include them. Then we can move on to more current. And 1999 is when I actually first started buying silver proof sets and reselling them for profit, basically, because I was out of work, and I found that, especially in 99, the quarters were very, very lucrative. Now, these are just clad. I wish this was a spitting horse variety, but it is not. But this is the first mint proof set that included the state quarter. So this was the first year of the state quarter. So this is pretty cool. I'll hang on to this for sure. Then we start moving on to more silver. So we got a 1983 silver proof set. And again, I believe in the later years, you still got a silver half, silver quarter, and silver dime, while the other 2 coins were just clad. And you can see in a lot of these, if you've paid attention, looked closely at the video, many times the penny does tarnish. Sometimes you'll see that dime or that nickel tarnish, but the quarter and the half dollar usually stay pretty well. We have a 1998 silver proof set. Now these I again valued at you know, when I put my quote together, I valued them around silver spot price minus a small percentage, just to make sure that if I did sell these or broke them out, that I could still make a little bit of profit on them if I sold them. But these are the kinds of things with the silver proof set I would hang on to. We got another 1998 silver proof. So we got that proof finish with an S mint mark. And last but not least, a 1997 silver proof set. So pretty cool. The last box I want to share with you guys is, I had never seen one of these before, but it is the Dolly Madison commemorative dollar coin. Certificate of authenticity. Comes in the box, the nice velvet case. A lot of proof silver eagles come this way, or all silver proof silver eagles come this way. And inside, oops, I've just dropped it, is a beautiful, beautiful Dolly Madison. Here, let me take that out of the case. Beautiful proof silver dollar. And this thing is 90% silver. It basically has the same amount of silver as like a Morgan silver dollar. It's like 26.7 grams and it's 90% silver. But a beautiful, beautiful coin. So that is it with the boxed stuff. And I guess I could say for value, this is an interesting coin because on eBay, it really depends on the day. I've seen these go for as little as about $20 and as high as like $30 or $35. Silver value, they're $19, $20. So obviously there's some numismatic value and value that you can put on this for the case and the presentation. But if you were to take that coin out and just sell the coin, you would be looking at the silver value alone. So there it is. So I'm going to transition over to something else. So be back in just a minute. So we are going to move on to the pennies. And as you can see in front of you, I got a lot of rolls of pennies. There's a few of these that we'll dive into and open up and go through, at least some of them, because many of these are the same penny all the way through, and some of them are really interesting. But there's a couple of really cool ones in here where this says 1964 uncirculated. I can tell you that's not what's in there. And like this one says Indian head miscellaneous VG plus. So that'll be something that we'll definitely crack into and look into. But I wanted to start with coins that are a little bit more interesting. In this collection, they had several binders full of really old pennies. I can tell you guys up front that this is the old PVC stuff, so I'm going to have to replace most of it. But I'm going to get these out of the flips, and we'll go through them one at a time, and we'll have a look at them. We won't spend too much time on each coin because there's about 40 of them in here, and I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. So let me get these out of the flips, and or at least out of this these PVC binders, and we'll have a look at them individually. Like the US half cent, these were issued from 1793 to 1857 and are made from copper. And in this collection, we picked up a few of these, 3 to be exact. The original collector was kind enough to label almost all of his coins, as you'll see throughout this video, and take a shot at a grade. Now, when I made my offer, I went over and took a look at the collection, took a few photos, and the way I came up with my quote was, you know, I started from their grade and then used Redbook and photo grade to come up with my own opinion of the grade. And sometimes I agreed and sometimes I didn't. So I made my offer based on what I thought the grade should be. Now, of these 3 half cents, this is probably the one in the worst shape, just due to lack of hair detail. But it does have a full Liberty in the headband, which maybe takes it to fine. It could just be a very good. We also got a 1828, which we're listed here at a VF, which again, this one's in much better shape. You can see all of the hair detail, the full headband Liberty, and the back looks pretty darn good. These coins can be quite pricey on eBay, graded. I've seen them as high as like $125, $150. Raw, I haven't been able to find many raw sales in these grades for these particular coins. But if all I could find was graded examples, I know when I made my offer, I took what the typical grading cost would be off of that. And then again, took a small percentage off just to ensure there was a little bit of profit in there for me should I resell it. This one is in really nice shape as well. So that'll do it for our half pennies. Let's move up to the large pennies. So we're moving on to the large cents. They were produced from 1793 to 1857, made of copper, 28 millimeter, and we have a bunch of them. Apologies for the reflection from the light. So let's go through these one at a time. We have an 1830 in F12 condition. See if I can zoom in for you. Again, we can argue the grade. I know I argued it a little bit in my pricing, but these are just beautiful pennies. This one definitely on the lower end of the scale. If we look at the wear on the back, we have an 1835. Estimated in VG. Again, I would probably argue with that a little bit. Given the toning, the wear, this is probably closer to good, but We have an 1837 in fine condition, and I can agree with this. This has got some hair detail, full Liberty, and the back looks spectacular. We have an 1838 in VG. Looks like we've got some scratches on the front, though, that would probably affect its grade and its value. It's an 1842 in VF. In 1843, so you can see this collector was trying like heck to get a full run of these large pennies. Definitely agree with this. This is probably cleaned as well in a G condition. Just looking at it, I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Just the toning is off. This has probably been dipped in something. We have an 1845 in fine condition. In 1846, very fine. This would be somewhere in that fine to very fine for sure. That is a beautiful large penny. 1847. Again, we've got some marks on it, but that's to be expected on a coin this old. But beautiful detail. 1849. This has a lot more wear on it. You can see in the brow, above the eye, on the ear, down near the neck. But still has Liberty. It's legible. And we do have some detail. This is another one that my initial thought is it's been cleaned just because the copper is a slightly different color. But beautiful. You can see individual strands of hair in this one, and I hope it's not cleaned. Because if it is, that'll diminish the value, but it is a beautiful coin. Yeah, you can see the gunk down in the olive branches there. That's usually a telltale sign that someone has tried to clean it. We have an 1851 in XF. Again, I need to check the red book and photo grade, but this one is a beautiful coin. Really, really nice detail. 1852. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below how many of these you think have been cleaned and how badly that might affect overall values. We have an 1853. We have an 1854. An 1856. This one's in less of a good condition. Still not terrible. And an 1855, listed as XF. And this has some of that green toning that I think happens from being in these PVC flips. Well, there we go. That's the large pennies. So let me collect these and we will move on to the next set of pennies. And we're reaching the 1900s, which means we are moving on to Indian heads. So we are up to the, really the 1900s. So the next part of this collection was in fact Indian head pennies. And for those of you that don't know, Indian head pennies ran from like 1859 to 1909. And this collection actually had a couple of these in flips, and then I'll show you guys, we had a tube as well that said various Indian head pennies. So let's zoom in, see what we ended up with. 1900, they marked them as XF. I don't know if they would quite get there, but they're good looking Indian head pennies. I think this is going to be the statement I would make for all of these. They're in decent condition. I probably over-evaluated these in my offer to him. I mean, I've seen Silver Picker on a lot of his videos. He caps these things out at like $1. I think I offered closer to $2 for some of these, and some of these it was closer to, 80 cents to $1. So on average, maybe I did okay. But I I probably lost a little bit of money on these, but I made up for it in a lot of other places. So these are 1904s, and he put these in flips. I can tell because they were the best ones he had. So we have a 1905 in fair condition, or fine condition. We could argue that on some of these coins, but I don't have any other Indian heads, so I was really happy to pick these up. These are 1906 and extra fine, and a couple of these did look pretty darn nice. We had some 1907s and extra fine. These are probably closer to a fine. But again, I'm just happy to have them. Here's a 1908 and a very fine. And then this tube that says 1 cent Indian head miscellaneous and VG plus. We're not going to go through every one of these, but they are basically, I went through them. They're 1900s through 1906, and every single one of these is an Indian head penny. This one's got a little bit of a clip on it. I have not looked through them for errors or anything like that. I don't even know if there are errors, but none of these are in spectacular condition. And in fairness, I don't even know if I quoted these on my final offer. So this is where I say I made up for it in other places. I had, in my pictures, I had just counted this as a roll of just random pennies, and you'll see why as I get into some of the other penny rolls. So anyway, I did manage to pick up, I think there's like 15 or 16 Indian heads in this container. So let me get this cleaned up, and we will move on to the next set of pennies. So before we move on to the pennies that were in the rolls that you saw at the beginning of the penny section, there were a handful of additional things that fall into the penny category. So we're going to go back in time a little bit before we get to those rolls. So we're going to start with the US 2-cent coin that ran from 1864 to 1873, again made of copper. And we have, I don't know, 7 or 8 of these to look through. Let me just put them up here real quick. They look very much like copper shield nickels, and I'm sure that's where the design came from. But let's take a look at them more closely. So we have an 1864 2-cent US coin. Again, original owner, very fine. We'll validate that. As I said, in my pricing, I took my own sort of thoughts into account. Sometimes I trusted the grade. We may or may not get there. We have an 1865 in G4, and you can tell this one's not as in good a shape. This one's got a lot more wear on it. Here's an 1865 they claimed was a VF30. In 1866, rated almost as high as XF. All of these I will reevaluate, and you know, if I feel like I really took advantage of the guy, which I don't feel like I did, but if I did, I'm sure I'll go back to him and give him a bit more money, because I would hate for somebody to take me for a ride. At the same time, my offer was accepted, so it had to have been the best one he got. So, sorry, this is an 1868 in fine. We have an 1869 coming up next, again in fine condition. And here is an 1870. So I think this is a really cool piece of history for those 2-cent pieces. He also had a 3-cent piece. So for those of you that don't know, there was in fact a 3-cent piece. This is from 1867. You can see we've got that green tarnish going on here. This may actually be silver rather than copper. It's actually nickel. I'm sorry. It is nickel. And it has some green toning tarnishing on it, but it is in absolutely fantastic shape. So there was one more page of pennies in the book, and looking at the coins that were on that page, I think the original owner just wasn't quite sure where to put them. So we did have one more large penny, 1824, marked in G, which I can agree with. maybe even about good. You get a little bit of Liberty left, but not much of it. There's quite a bit of wear. But an 1824 large penny. This is kind of a cool piece. This is a Flying Eagle 1 cent piece. This only ran from 56 to 58. Let's see here. This has actually got an 1857 mint mark on it. We got a little hole. I don't know if that was part of the original mint or if that was post-mint damage there. But it is a 1 cent piece, Flying Eagle cent. There was another 1900 wheat penny in pretty good shape. It looks like most of Liberty is legible. It does look like it may have been cleaned. But we got another Indian head penny. We had a little steely in there. It's a 1943. It's really hard to read. I had to check it under the microscope. But that is just a typical steely wheat penny. And then for some reason, and I need to look and see if maybe there was something special about the year 1997D, but we had a random 1997D in a flip. So I don't know if this is maybe a variety or something to that effect, or maybe it was just the nicest one he found before he ended up with a whole roll of them. So with that, I'm going to take us over and get into some of the rolls we have. I'm going to try to go through those quickly because I have a bunch of rolls for us to have a look at. So what we have left to look at is there were a bunch of rolled pennies in a box. Everything I have on this side, I've looked through them very, very quickly. But this is all just, 1997, 98, 99, uncirculated, according to the labels. And when you look at the edges, I mean, these look like these were pulled from bankrolls in those years and thrown into some tubes. So, I'll have to go back and look to see if there's any particular errors, like a double ear or something like that would fall into these years. But these I actually quoted out as just 50 cents. Because again, I don't think there's a whole lot of value here, but I have them. And, if it happens to be that there's a 97 double ear on the D, then, we'll have a look through those and I will include that in the video if we find anything. But the reality is those are just tubes of pennies. Now where it gets a little bit more interesting is in these rolls here, because most of this, there's some current stuff, but this is a lot of uncirculated or about uncirculated wheat pennies. And this roll I have already confirmed. It says 1948S uncirculated, and I'll just pull a few of these out to give you guys a look. These are in fact just beautiful, 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 and I probably shouldn't be touching them without some gloves on. But 1948S uncirculated wheat pennies. They're absolutely gorgeous. So from there, we have very similarly a roll of 1955S uncirculated. And again, they're just absolutely gorgeous uncirculated wheat pennies. Just take out a couple for you guys to see. I've been through the whole roll already. There are no other years, but these are just absolutely beautiful. So one thing I was curious from you guys is this the kind of thing, because I obviously don't need 50 1955 uncirculated wheat pennies in AU or BU condition. Is this something you would sell by the roll? Sell by individual pennies? How would you guys handle these if you wanted to offload them? Not that I don't like them, not that I won't keep some, unless I decide to sell the whole roll because it's just that lucrative. But how would you deal with that? Because I imagine selling these a penny at a time on eBay would get pretty old pretty fast. You'd get eaten alive in shipping and fees. So what's left is these 4 rolls. So what I'm going to do is I'll just, I'm going to lay these out and go through them, and I'll fast forward here and there and slow down when there's something interesting to say. But all these say, uncirculated or about uncirculated. Some actually do say circulated, but they're miscellaneous. And I've looked through them before, but I know there's some pretty cool coins in these rolls. So let me look through them again, and I'll pull you in when we find something cool. So right away, I see things like this that I don't know if this is a proof or if this is just something that's been polished. It looks like it's a proof though. 1962 in just absolutely amazing condition. right? I've got a couple of those that are jumping out at me, right? There's another one. There's a 1963. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see in here I've got some red-toned Wheat Pennies in random years. That looks like it's got, I'm not sure if that's damage or just toning, but we've got some really nice Wheat Pennies in here. Just pull up a few more for you guys to look at. So what I really need to do on these is go through them to see if there's any particular years, to make sure that there's not some errors or things we're looking at. But I would say a lot of these are going to really fall into that uncirculated or BU Wheat Penny. So let me get these put away and I'll pull out this next roll, but I've got a bunch of these to go through, but it's just yet another set of really nice looking Wheat Pennies. And I don't know what this red stuff is. If anyone out there does know, let me know down in the comments below. So I'm gonna take a little cut here and get this cleaned up. So I just went through these last 3 rolls that were marked as, you know, AU miscellaneous. And while the coins in there do look nice, they are the kind of pennies that you could probably make some replacements in your penny albums, short of hunting them all for errors or varieties. They were all common dates. They were all post Wheat Penny. I did find one Wheat Penny in there, and it's not in the best of shape, but it is a, what year is it? 1912, so it is an old one. So we'll definitely make sure we put that aside. Like I said, the rest of these, there's good copper in here. You can see it, the difference between the new zinc pennies and the copper ones. But there is, short of finding an error or variety, these are just pennies. So now we're going to move on to nickels. So after filming this and editing it together, it's obvious that it's going to be way too long to release as a single video on YouTube. So even this part 1 ended up being a little longer than I wanted, coming in at just over 30 minutes. So I hope you have enjoyed this look at the mint sets and all the various pennies that were part of this collection. I think there's some great history here, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you happen to see anything that you want to learn more about, or you want to agree with me or disagree with me on the grading that the original owner had, or maybe that I said during my commentary, please do leave me a comment down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and click on that subscribe button, click on that like button, click on that bell and select all, so you get notified every time I drop a new video, which will be pretty soon because I've got a part 2 and a part 3 coming right behind this one. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoy the next 2. Take care, everyone. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.